Bonjour YouTube, on va tester notre for broadcast. Recordman, Guinness Book, recordman du monde du jeu avec le plus de FMV dedans. C'est pas des conneries. Donc on va essayer ça. Il y a quelques trigger warnings, ça promet. Alors déjà le fond musical est funky et frais. Bon, option. Difficulté. Story, easy, normal, hard, custom. D'accord. Hardcore, more, auto-sensor, auto-headlines. Content warning. Non. On va pas se prendre... voilà. On va pas trop se gâcher le truc là. Ah. Audio, anglais, russe, chinois, mandarin. Bon, on va faire ça déjà. Il devrait pas y avoir de problème au début, oui, comme de toute façon on n'en fera qu'une heure. J'ai bien aimé votre question, je compte le refaire, je te souhaite bon jeu, merci beaucoup. J'ai pas testé la démo ni rien, et comme dit, on fera que la première heure, donc vous n'allez pas vous spoiler trop, même si vous regardez, je vous rassure. Mais on va se tenter ça, on va voir ce que ça donne. Nommer la partie. Continue. L'histoire sans stress, les mécaniques de non-diffusion sont désactivées, les spectateurs sont très indulgents. D'accord, donc ça c'est ok. Les mécaniques de non-diffusion et d'audimat constituent un défi raisonnable. Les mécaniques de non-diffusion sont plus fréquentes et... Ok, très bien, on va faire radiodiffuseur. On va faire la difficulté conseillée. J'avais mis les sous-titres normalement. Ils vont peut-être arriver après. Oh. C'est une ambiance, hein. J'ai découvert que le jeu s'appelle Not for Broadcast parce que les devs s'appellent Not for, en fait, c'est le nom de leur truc, et qui commencent sous leur titre de tout leur jeu par Not for, en fait. Devs qui sont anglais, mais ça vous l'auriez deviné extrêmement vite, je pense, dans le jeu. Téléphone. Tantôt vers la droite. D'accord. D'accord. Bonjour madame.
So you're going to have to run the news tonight. Now don't worry, it's not hard and I'm going to stay on the phone and help you. First, I'm going to give you a quick tour of the broadcast room, so if you're not doing it already, look forwards towards all those screens.
Mais si... attends, déjà on va en...
Right,
non,
look up at the top.
Okay.
That coloured bar is your audience.
D'accord.
You want to keep the viewers going up and not down.
Noté.
Underneath that, you've got the
Comment tu fais ça à distance par le téléphone?
right is the broadcast screen.
Oui.
That's what the viewers are seeing at home.
D'accord, comme dans OBS.
It's only a couple of
Très bien.
seconds behind the master screen there in the middle. That's the one you control. Now the
D'accord.
four small screens on the left show the different signals coming from the studio.
C'est les 4 feeds.
And you
Ok.
can choose between them using the numbered buttons on the vision mixer at the bottom left. Don't worry, I'll talk you through it and you'll pick it up in no time. Now, have a look to your left.
Left,
These
ici.
plugs control everything in the studio. I've left them set up for you, so
D'accord, le
provided you haven't
ventilateur,
fiddled with them,
ok,
all you
très
have
bien.
to do now is throw the master trip switch and we're in business. Once you've got the power on, face the front again. You can see on the broadcast screen
Je
that
leur mets
we're
le
in the
ventilateur, quand même.
titles for the show before us. Fortunately, they go on for fucking ages, so there's plenty of time for me to explain. Oh, right, okay, they're over, so we haven't got long now till the broadcast. Right, quickly, mate, look down under the desk. You can see a load of videotapes on the left.
Oui.
They're your adverts. Pick any three and load them into the machines.
Alors, les exercices avec four et saucisse, venez à Bumley et ma salade hebdomadaire.
Right, the tapes are loaded and we're all ready for when we get to the first ad break. That's great.
Ok.
Any second now, you should be getting a signal through from the studio.
D'accord.
Stay on your toes, mate. It's election night, so all eyes are on this room. We do not.
Et c'est ce soir que tu considères que ce serait le moment de me planter comme une merde.
When you get the signal, select screen 1 with the vision mixer and we're ready to go.
Prawn and mayonnaise?
You know seafood makes me go out in pustules.
Yeah, I thought it might increase our viewing figures.
Every day. You offer me prawns every day.
10 seconds, everybody. That's how I show love.
D'accord, ça a l'air de bien se passer.
And yet you persist. Going in 5, 4.
Good evening. I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main stories tonight.
Okay, we're all good.
Ok,
Next
très
thing is
bonne
going to be
nouvelle.
to throw the news titles on screen
Ok.
too. There'll be a countdown, but I'll count you in as well. Just relax, mate. It's all gravy.
Buys honest Andy's
D'accord.
totally independent and corners the flower
Ah oui,
market.
toute la séquence est sur 2, compris.
Sports fans everywhere celebrate as popular footballer Johnny Hamsleeves wins Sports Personality of the Year. And a spoonful of sugar. Megan will be chatting with movie star Lawrence Blunderclatch.
Attends, c'est la soirée des élections et c'est tout ce que vous avez à branler des stars qui... et les footballeurs. Ah. 7, 6, 5...
Button 2 in 3, 2, 1. Lovely, mate.
Parfait.
Next thing is
Ok,
to
je peux y aller avec les touches en haut, tout va bien.
When that globe in the middle shrinks down and vanishes.
Ok, compris. Tout va bien, je suis au top. Oh, quel magnifique générique. Shrink down and vanishes.
Here it comes. Switch to screen 1. Now, lovely, mate.
But first, the votes are in and it's
Parfait.
a decisive win for Advance.
We often get a bit of interference around this time, mate. Keep your eye on the machine at the bottom right. Use that slider that's flashing, or your scroll wheel to move the wave up and down, keeping the green bit in the white bit.
But critics
Hurry up, mate. We're losing audience. Little knob or scroll wheel.
T'en fais pas, je suis dessus.
The opposition parties have all conceded defeat to Advance's overwhelming mandate, but have yet to appear publicly. However, former Home Secretary
Right, it's going well. All you've got to do now is play the advert at the end of the segment.
Okay.
Make sure you don't play it too early or we'll all get fired. Now, the clock at the top is counting you down to the advert. When it reaches 0,
Oui.
press one of the 3 play
D'accord,
buttons
ok.
over there at the
Compris.
bottom right. I normally play the first one at the first break and so on, but you can play them in any order you want. I'll count you into it as well, but keep your eye on the clock.
to hear the co-leader's acceptance.
Et du coup, il s'est passé quoi là exactement avec les élections? Parce que je...
1 minute back, everybody. Jeremy, I need you to fill after the ads.
What? Why?
Wanker Snatch is running late.
Parce qu'il y a un problème là.
Personally, I wouldn't try to confuse him with any big words.
Il y a un truc qui...
I thought that was our little secret.
Il y a un truc au niveau des élections là où vous racontiez qu'il y a un parti qui a pris le pouvoir. Je sais pas si c'est une bonne nouvelle. Note de segment A+, merci beaucoup.
Wicked. We made it to the first ad break. You're doing great, mate.
Merci,
But
madame.
this is where it starts getting a bit trickier.
C'est quoi ce
This
compte
next
là-haut?
sequence is what we call a multicam sequence because you're going to be cutting between multiple cameras to keep things interesting. A lot of it's down to personal taste, but here's 3 good rules of thumb. 1. Try and keep the shot on whoever is doing the talking.
D'accord.
2. Don't stay on the same shot for too long.
Okay.
10 seconds at the most.
D'accord.
So if you're on the person who's talking, try and throw in the odd reaction shot or pull out to the wide shot for a bit just to
Ok.
keep it interesting.
D'accord. Ne pas faire le montage à la WW non plus.
Shots for too long. A couple of seconds is
Plan de
usually
réaction ne doit pas
enough.
durer plus de 3
Then the
secondes. D'accord.
audience want to see who's doing the talking, yeah? Stick to these rules and you'll be fine.
Ok.
It's not as complicated as it sounds. You've seen programs on television, haven't you?
Non,
Make it
jamais.
look like
Je regarde pas la
those.
télévision, moi.
Might as well get screen 1 selected now. No need to wait for the broadcast to start. Try and stay ahead, mate.
Quiet in the studio.
Thank you so much.
10 seconds, everybody. Going in 5,
Johnny Four Saucisse.
3.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Later, we'll be hearing from shock election winners Advance. But first,
Get ready to go to Megan on screen 4.
Ok.
is here with a star of both stage and screen. Megan?
Thank you, Jeremy. Megan Wolfe, culture correspondent. And today I have a guest who starred in everything from Shakespeare
Right,
to
go
the
to Blunderclatch on screen 3 when she says his
joined
name.
today by none other than Lawrence Blunderclatch. Thank you so much for coming on.
Oh my
Ok.
goodness. I do hope you believe me when I tell you. I do hope that being with you here today is among
Switch to 2 for the wide now.
May I say, having you here with us is among ours.
Right, now just try and stay on whoever's talking.
Pas de souci.
Movie, which is called The Medicated.
The medicated, yes.
Wow, what was that like?
Well, as I said to Peter at the Rat, that's Peter Jensen, the director.
Give us a look at Megan's reaction.
He's a wonderful
Lovely.
chap,
Now
he
back
really
to
is.
Thunder Twat.
I've worked with him.
Il s'appelle Thunder Twat ou c'est une impression?
I said to Peter, what a wild ride this has been. And you know what, Megan? I really meant that.
Wow, that is fantastic. And
Oops.
am I right in saying that the character you play in this movie is quite an academic one?
Absolutely right. A scientist.
Was that a challenge at all?
What exactly are you implying? But seriously, yes, you're right. It was a complete departure from my last.
Ok, c'est un peu compliqué, mais on va y arriver.
When I played Sergeant Brock Rockman in Bullet Man. You'll remember that was the true story.
Been on that shot a bit long.
T'en fais pas, je suis dessus.
A love, of course, for freedom. I think it's grossed over $1 billion, but honestly, who's counting?
It's a role that saw you scoop 2 Best Actor awards, if I remember correctly.
It's so sweet of you to mention it, but I really am not in it for the awards, although those 3 little statues do take pride of place on my mantelpiece.
With all the others, I'm sure.
Voilà, on est dessus.
Not doing it for the awards. What is it then that drives you?
That is a beautiful question, Megan, and not easy to answer. Like you, I'm afraid. Cut me, and I will bleed. And often, that's how it feels, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Bleeding,
D'accord.
giving.
Je crois qu'il a des problèmes quand même, ce monsieur.
For one's audience. I suppose in the end, I do it for the difference it makes. I do it for the people that I inspire.
Direction shot.
The little people. But most of all, I think I do it for the positive change that I can bring about in the world.
And today, of course, we're in for some real change, it looks like, in the coming few months. What do you make of this historic election result?
Je suis sûr que c'est pas du tout d'actualité, ce jeu.
Oh, well. Well, now you're asking. Historic election result. Indeed. Historic is the word. Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Very difficult. But I think I've always been quite clear that when it comes to politics,
Attention.
one should always strive to not fuck things up.
Shit, he swore. Oh, well, don't worry, he won't do it again.
Sorry, I said fuck.
Shit, he did it again. Okay, don't panic. I'll explain how to deal with swearing at the break.
Medicated,
Très
which
bien.
opens next week.
I've swapped the shot of Jeremy on screen 1 for a VT of the movie clip. You'll get a countdown on the screen, but I'll just let Megan cue you in.
My
Okay.
character, Dr. Lodz Hemlock, is faced with a decision that could affect humanity's very survival.
Exciting stuff. Let's take a look.
Très bien.
Cool, looks like Blunderclash is losing it in the studio, but we ain't got time for that. There's more interference coming. It's a bit
Okay.
trickier this time, mate. Use that little flashing joystick to the left of the knob, or hold down your middle mouse or Alt on your keyboard, and as the frequency changes, match it to the white bit by dragging right.
D'accord.
I don't know that?
Now we're going to squash the frequency back by dragging left.
No, we mustn't. Think of Carol.
That's Dr. Lance to you, Miss Flanagan.
Pas de souci. Pas de souci, je gère.
Jubbly, mate.
For you, baby.
Next, we're going to change the amplitude. Same as
Ah,
last time. Little joystick or hold Alt or middle mouse, and this time push upwards. Upwards, mate. Upwards.
Ouais, t'en fais pas, je suis dessus.
I'm drowning, Lance, you said.
Faudrait quand même pas que le public rate ce truc, hein, ça a l'air génial.
Now let's match it back by going downwards.
The virus. The sterility. This formula. This is the key.
Mais quel enfer ce truc.
Not bad. You'll get it with practice.
Ok, c'est bon.
We have to ask ourselves.
At the end of the clip, you'll want to play another ad.
Okay.
Remember to use the clock at the top to count you in.
Oui, t'en fais pas. Je m'en rappelle. Par contre, pourquoi tout est fermé là? Non, c'est bon.
Right, I guess I better explain how to deal with
Magnifique.
bleeping out swear words.
Oui.
As you've probably noticed, the broadcast screen, here, is about 2 seconds behind the master screen. Here, when someone says a naughty word, the bleep button lights up, like this. 2 seconds later, you'll hear that swear word going out on the broadcast.
Je regarde cette pub, elle est magnifique.
Down the bleep button or the spacebar on your keyboard.
Spacebar,
for as long
d'accord.
as the swear word lasts.
Spacebar.
It can take a bit of practice getting used to hearing two things at once. Just stay calm and you'll get it. And if you can't tell when to bleep, just above the button, you'll literally be able to see the sound scrolling by. All you got to do is hold it down while the red bit is over the red line. Simple. Of course, if you do it by eye, you'll have to take your eye off the screens. That's why real professionals do it by ear. Most people like to have the volume of the broadcast screen a little bit below the master screen. Let's set it now. As you turn it up, you'll hear the advert getting louder. Good.
Oui.
You're set to start censoring. Like I say, it takes a little practice, but I'll try and help you through it, and soon we'll have you bleeping like a pro.
D'accord.
Remember, button lights up, count 1, 2, and hold it down.
Ok,
Only 85
compris.
minutes from the coast, and with more than 2 areas of outstanding natural interest. Isn't it time your family...
Remember to select screen 1 now that you've got the feed.
Oui, t'en fais pas.
Don't wait for the broadcast to go live. That's too late. You can use the number buttons on your keyboard, 1 to 4.
Je suis dessus.
Seriously?
We've had worse. 5, 4, 3.
Oh, je sens que ça va être magnifique comme séquence encore.
I'm told we can now go live to advance headquarters, where the two leaders, Peter Clement
Ah,
and
c'est compliqué.
William
Attends, c'est quoi?
are about to make their acceptance address.
Cut to the outside broadcast. Oh shit, he's pissed. Get ready to bleep.
Well, thank you all for coming, and, well, where do I start? What a day.
They said we couldn't do
They
it.
certainly did.
They use every dirty, low-down, lying...
Ça c'est compliqué avec les deux sons en même temps quand même.
They had against us, but you, the people,
No, you totally missed
saw
that.
right through their
Ah bon?
I'm sorry about the language there.
Sorry about that. I've had a couple of celebratory pints. Makes me coarser than a granny's fanny.
Memorably put.
Perfect.
But to be honest, who can blame Peter for celebrating? Throughout the campaign, you've heard us say that Advance are not a political party. A party is what you have when things are going well. When the country is suffering, you don't need a party.
Non, vraiment, c'est pas du tout ripped from the headlines.
Team that can change things. But today is day one of a new future. A better, fairer future. So perhaps we should all be celebrating.
Except for the rich. For them, the party's over. They shouldn't be celebrating. They should be putting their shitting pants on and opening their dusty checkbooks.
Again, colourfully put.
Ok, il faut que j'y aille avec la barre d'espace, ce sera mieux.
Before we came out here to address the nation, we used our executive powers to pass the
Oui, il y a des petites lumières orange et vertes du coup. J'ai remarqué.
list of every person in the country with wealth into the millions.
You know the sort of... Probably you rather you don't. Because the likes of you and me are not welcome in their gated communities.
Tomorrow we will be introducing a sweeping reform of the tax system in this country.
Tout va bien se passer.
No more hiding wealth offshore, no more trust funds or creative accounting. A simpler, fairer, unavoidable set of tax laws.
So, all you bastard public school snobs have got nowhere to hide.
Merci.
Earlier today, we revoked your passports.
Ah.
You want them back? You want to leave like you threatened before. That's fine. But first, you're going to pay up. You're going to pay back.
Et donc, c'est pas très rassurant ce qu'on entend là. C'est peut-être moi? Non, je sais pas.
Into a team. To properly fund health and education. To raise the living standards of us all.
The pundits said we'd have to raise billions. But you'll see when we've reclaimed what's ours, that's absolute ferret shite. So to you posh twats.
The people who pay you a pittance to serve them drinks in their private clubs.
Merci beaucoup.
The people whose children you raise.
So they've got time to get even fucking richer.
Advance have this to say to you.
Held it down a bit long there, mate.
Oups,
We
désolé.
are coming for your sports cars and your mansions and your vineyards.
It ends today.
We will put the wealth of this country back where it should have always been, in the hands of the people who created it.
It ends today.
Yes, it ends today. And tomorrow, we'll start making it fair again. Just like we promised we would.
And until then, ladies and gents, I suggest we all get pissed.
I can't argue with that. Thank you for your time.
Well, an interesting acceptance speech there from the leaders of Advance. And our apologies for the fruity language.
Voilà, voilà.
Hopefully we got that bleeped out for you in time. If not, someone's going to be in trouble.
J'ai fait ce que j'ai pu.
As the country braces itself for new government, that's all from us this evening at the National Nightly News. We'll be back tomorrow with full coverage of the first day under Advance. I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Have a peaceful night.
Zéro pub.
Right, looks like you've got it now. Thanks for all the help, mate. I've got to go. Ferry's about to leave. Probably won't be coming back. Job's yours, mate. Good luck.
Ok.
Some weird fever dream. Am I dying now or something?
You should be so lucky. I'll see you tomorrow night.
Not going for a drink?
No, got a date.
Lucky you. Try not to get murdered.
Ok, les dialogues sont exceptionnels quand même. Celle des défis débloqués, très bien. Note de segment C. Comment ça, note de segment C? Juste parce que j'ai oublié de biper 3 trucs et que je suis resté sur quelques plans trop longtemps, vous êtes chiant. J'aimerais bien vous y voir, vous, bande de connards. Pardon.
When the programme's finished, you'll get a broadcast report. It's 3 pages. This first page shows you how well the broadcast went. Each sequence and an overall grade. Remember, grades mean bonuses, and they keep the boss happy. If you want to know more about how it went, select more info. If not, select continue to move to the next page.
Je veux bien plus d'infos, si c'est possible.
Right, this is an optional section for when you really want to understand what happened during the show. You've got a graph there showing you what the audience did. They're a fickle fucking bunch. And of course, you can really drill into the details.
Ah oui, tu fais une connerie.
I never came here, never once.
Oui, mais ça, c'est les 2 fois où j'ai pas pu biper parce qu'il m'avait pas expliqué. Enchaînement de plans trop rapide parfois. Bon. En même temps, on a démarré l'audience à 50, on a terminé à 85. Ils vont pas me casser les couilles non plus, hein. Je pense que j'ai super assuré. Votre plein salaire. Fortune actuelle, pauvre et fauché. Ah. Oui, effectivement. C'est une bonne remarque, merci beaucoup. Il m'aime. Il m'aime. Des gens qui m'aiment. Bien. Merci. Ah. Du coup, je peux revoir mes... Charger la cassette.
In a few moments, we'll be going live to tonight's National Nightly News. But before that, let's take a look at what's coming up later on tonight on Channel 1. At 7 o'clock, it's the semi-final of the quotation game, and it's a nail-biting quiz tonight as a team of nuclear physicists take on 4 old ladies from East Grinching. That's followed at 8 p.m. by award-winning documentary series The Shape of Now, which tonight looks at the history of the knee-length sock and its importance during the Great Blackouts of 1871. Not one to miss. At 9 p.m, sit back and relax with multiple award-winning movie The Freedom of Being Colin, taking us all the way up to 11:15, where, as usual, Dr. Adrian Atkinson-Blimey will be grilling his guests in Incisors, and tonight sees a return for leading economist Katie Brightman. Finally, at midnight, it's the National Weather Report, before we say good night until tomorrow. But now, it's time to join Jeremy Donaldson for the National Nightly News.
Oui, ok, d'accord.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main stories tonight. Moving on up, the election win that experts said just couldn't happen. Hopeful or hostile? Controversy as global megacorporation Remington's Fist buys Honest Andy's Totally Independent and corners the Flard market. Top 10. Sports fans everywhere celebrate as popular footballer Johnny Ham's leaves wins Sports Personality of the Year. And
Mais tout ça, on l'a pas vu dans le journal.
Meghan will be chatting with movie star Lawrence
Enfin, ça, on l'a vu.
about his new movie, The Medicated. And, of course, we'll be going live to Advance Headquarters.
Ah oui, si, d'accord, je devais être occupé sur autre chose.
After saying on their historic victory.
Ah oui, putain, du coup, t'es vraiment occupé sur autre chose, quoi, dans ces moments-là.
National Nightly News.
Bon, on va pas se regarder tout le broadcast de nouveau, mais c'est noté que c'est une possibilité.
Click on rushes and let's have a look at those. Right, this is the rushes room. It's pretty simple. The 4 screens you can see, they're going to show you the 4 signals you got from the studio during the actual broadcast.
D'accord.
The difference is you can mute any combination of them, so you can have a listen to the stuff you weren't allowed to show. Select the broadcast and give it a go, and when you're done listening to the backstage secrets, hit back.
Salut Mafu.
Apparently, he's been drinking since lunchtime.
Christ, he's a liability in the best of times.
I know. God help whoever has to bleep this. 10 seconds, everybody.
I mean, a lawyer and a TV personality running the country. Seriously?
We've had worse. 5, 4, 3.
D'accord, une avocate et... Ok, d'accord,
Welcome
très bien.
back. And I'm told we can now go live to Advance Headquarters, where the 2 leaders, Peter Clement and Julia Salisbury, are about to make their acceptance address.
Shall I start?
Go for it, Pat.
Okay, well, thank you all for coming, and, well, where do I start? What a day.
They said we couldn't do
They
it.
certainly did.
They used every dirty, low-down, lying,
J'aime bien sa robe.
southern bastard trick they had against us. But you, the people, you saw right
C'est vrai que
through
c'est une
their
jolie robe.
shite.
I'm sorry about the language there.
Sorry about that. I've had a couple of celebratory pints. Makes me coarser than a granny's fanny.
Memorably put. But to be honest, who can blame Peter for celebrating? Throughout the campaign, you've heard us say that Advance are not a political party. A party is what you have when things are going well. When the country is suffering, you don't need a party. You need a team. A team that can change things.
No, party,
But
team
today
spirit,
is day
one.
one of a new future. A better, fairer future. So perhaps we should all be
C'est très intéressant de les voir là-haut en même temps.
For them, the party's over. They shouldn't be celebrating. They should be putting their shitting pants on and opening their dusty checkbooks.
Again, colourfully put, but not in action.
Voir les réactions de en haut, c'est quand même
Before
très
we
très
came
bien.
out here to address the nation, we used our executive powers to pass the Assets and Wealth Act. Working with the tax office, we have produced a definitive list of every person in the country with wealth into the millions.
You know the sort of... Probably you rather you don't. Because the likes of you and me are not welcome in their gated communities.
Tomorrow, we will be introducing a sweeping reform of the tax system in this country. No more hiding wealth offshore, no more trust funds or creative accounting. A simpler, fairer, unavoidable set of tax laws.
So, all you bastard public school snobs have got nowhere to hide. And earlier today, we revoked your passports. You want them back? You want to leave like you threatened before the election? That's fine. But first, you're going to pay up. You're going to pay back.
Advance are going to turn this
D'accord,
country
j'ai enfin
from a
compris ce qui
nation
se
of
passait du
warring
coup.
individuals into a team. To properly fund health and
Ok.
education. To raise the living standards of us all.
The pundits said we'd have to raise billions. But you'll see when we've reclaimed what's ours, that's absolute ferret shite. So to you posh twats.
The people who pay you a pittance to serve them drinks in their private clubs. The people whose children you raise.
So they've got time to get even fucking richer.
Advance have this to say to you.
Hop là, pardon, j'ai cliqué traviole. Bon, ok, très bien. Jour 2, c'est parti. Avant que j'oublie tout. Je pense qu'on a compris le sens général du truc de toute façon, mais mon Dieu. J'aime beaucoup cette illustration sur les temps de chargement, sur les temps passants. Et à mon avis, voilà, ça nous dit ce qu'on doit savoir déjà. Jour 3. Ah. Dans la même maison, tu trouves un courrier sur le pas de la porte, comme d'habitude. Rien intéressant, à l'exception d'une lettre. L'équipe souhaite vieux vous connaître. Conjoint Sam Winston, Charles et Suzy. Et comment ils ne se sont pas trompés. Vous avez un nouvel emploi. Quelle serait votre attitude? Oh putain. Il va falloir que je fasse ça dans les temps qui viennent. Il va falloir se vendre. Je me montre aimable et je me présente à mes collègues. J'en informe mon responsable sur le champ car je suis une grosse balance. Ils ont 2 prénoms mixtes mais ils ont 2 enfants donc bon. Je reste au travail pour respecter les délais fixés. Alors je vais te dire le truc. Tous les salariés d'un service ont été renvoyés aujourd'hui après n'avoir jamais réussi à atteindre leur objectif. Votre chef a fixé de nouveaux objectifs nettement supérieurs aux précédents. Je reste au travail pour respecter les délais fixés. C'est le barbecue annuel de l'entreprise auquel votre famille a été invitée. Vous avez hâte de passer cette belle journée en compagnie de vos amis et de votre famille. Il est temps de partir à la retraite. Dans votre discours, vous... Énumérez vos réussites et succès ainsi que tous les bons souvenirs liés à l'entreprise. Voilà. Vous consacrez votre temps libre à... Non, pas jouer pour l'équipe sportive. Encourager et soutenir vos enfants, assister à des meetings politiques et défendre vos convictions. Oh et puis merde. En anglais, Sam est toujours référé en they, them. Oh! Nice! Pour une destination de vacances idéale, au plus près de la nature, dans un endroit où vous pouvez échapper au train-train quotidien. Un endroit des paysans que vous pouvez explorer, une sortie bien planifiée avec un parc d'attractions avec plein de sensations fortes, une île tropicale paradisiaque. On va dire au plus près de la nature. Le gouvernement doit avant tout garantir aux citoyens leur sécurité, liberté, bonheur, égalité. On va dire bonheur. D'accord, et c'est Advance qui m'a envoyé le questionnaire, le nouveau parti politique. Très bien. Zadelf de Sam. Zadelf, je ne sais pas ce que ça veut dire Zadelf. Est-ce que tu veux que j'aille chercher Sam? Très bien. Frère, sœur, ok. J'ai parlé des lois sur les actifs et richesses. Oui. Ils prennent ce qui est juge bon de prendre pour le distribuer à qui ils veulent. Aucun gouvernement ne devrait être en mesure de faire ça. Va falloir tirer comme ça, c'est pour ça que tu dois m'aider. Qu'est-ce que je peux faire pour toi au juste? Je dois emprunter ton passeport. Pour quelle raison? Ils ont pris le mien et celui de la moitié des habitants de ce fichu pays. Mais il paraît qu'on se ressemble. Partir avec le trotard, mon argent il me restera un abri, on doit en faire qui bloque mes comptes. En même temps, tu es pété de thunes. C'est de l'évasion fiscale. Toujours bien dire, Sam et toi, je vais les traiter comme les enfants. Comme nous sommes une famille, ça signifie rien pour toi. C'est illégal. Enfin, je peux dire, bon. Je vais me retrouver salement dans la merde, surtout. Non, moi je le vis bien en fait. Salut Marion Rennes. Bisous, bisous. Je t'enverrai un petit message dans l'après-midi aussi, je pense. On va rencontrer un énorme succès grâce à son émission télé de bricolage. C'est ça. La famille, ça... Ah oui, pardon. C'est pas Roux de nouveau. Bonjour. Ok. Ah oui, c'est vrai. Ok.
consequences, don't they?
On l'essaye, c'est certain que ce jouet ne représente aucun danger. Bon, bah écoute... Fonceur d'Advance, ça va être bien. Et... Un gemme se produira bientôt d'une salle de capacité moyenne près de chez vous. Une élégante nouvelle crème pour peau avec une petite touche porcine. Parfait.
Right, you can see they finally got the old headline system up and working again.
Ah bon?
And the vision mixer's already in headline mode because headlines always come at the start. It's really simple, mate. These two buttons at the bottom of the vision mixer, you can see they now have
Ah oui, c'est vrai. Bien vu.
and they're to help you pick image A on the left bottom screen here or image B on the right bottom screen here.
Ok.
It's really simple. This little clock here will count down the number of seconds you have to make your decision.
D'accord.
Provided you make a decision in that time, you're fine. And you can change your mind as much as you want until the clock reaches zero.
Ok.
If you don't make any decision, you'll be fired before you even get to make another choice.
D'accord.
I just want to say one more thing, mate. The pictures you choose to show of these people, well, that's how the public is going to perceive them, and that's going to affect their lives.
Ok.
So, like with the adverts, choose carefully.
Ah, parce que les pubs, fallait que je les choisisse avec soin.
Good luck, mate. If I get time, I'll call you back in the next break. Yeah, I'm coming, darling.
D'accord. Il fallait que je choisisse les pubs avec soin.
Is this
Ok.
charity thinks dogs have their own secret language?
Yeah, the one that mistrusts the moon. 10 seconds, everybody.
What's the best source of consumer advice then?
Don't blame me when it explodes. Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening, I'm Jeremy Donaldson. Our main headlines tonight.
Okay.
Destination unknown. At the end of Advance's first full week in office, we ask exactly who's leading this charge. Tonight, I'll be discussing what the new future might hold with a leading economist and radical free thinker. With the country's wealth creators in a state of panic and unfavourable rumblings already heard from overseas, I'll be asking my guess whether Advance can deliver on even a fraction of their manifesto promises.
Ok.
Out with the old. Rimington's Fist have appointed Sophia Rimington as their new CEO. The following photo, taken from
Je vais prendre des risques. Hein.
gives us a sense of this influential young firebrand who, at the tender age of 23, becomes the youngest female CEO.
Je vais prendre des risques, mais au bout d'un moment, voilà.
Sophia Rimington's appointment is a risk for the giant mega corporation. Sophia, as our regular viewers will be aware, has always been a wild child.
Je pense que je me fais virer à la fin de ce broadcast, mais c'est pas grave.
In her first press conference this afternoon, Sophia announced a children's toy named Mr. Snugglehearts. Sophia promises it'll be all the rage this Christmas, but concerns have been raised about the product's safety. Making a splash. Intrepid scientist Dr. David Wong and marine biologist Ingrid Swarsborg and Horgensford have today set off to explore Dante's taint. The
Le périnée
recently
dedans.
discovered cave system was previously thought unreachable, but thanks to a new breakthrough in underwater
Non, c'est des scientifiques.
the pair hope to successfully reach the imposing central cavern and the undiscovered plant species it contains.
Voilà.
This is, of course, only the latest in a series of successful expeditions for this unlikely pairing. In a joint statement about the dangers their team might face, the pair stated, "We will face the plentiful challenges together like we always have." Playing the field, rumours abound as sporting legend Johnny Hamsleeves is snapped leaving Bush, one of the capital's hottest clubs. The footballer was caught while out celebrating being named Sports Personality of the Year last week, as reported by this very programme. And judging from the angle and velocity of that spray, it looks like Johnny may have been celebrating a little bit too much. I certainly wouldn't want to be his dry cleaner. And grievous bodily charm. With Advance promising a radical new position on crime, how afraid should we actually be? I'll be going live around the country to talk with people who've seen the criminal justice
Voilà.
system from every perspective. With more and more powers passing to the police and less oversight, are we using an Advance-shaped sledgehammer
On
to
prend le
crack
risque.
the
Hein.
nut?
On y va à fond.
All that, a mega move for the group of young
Okay.
actors already experiencing the positive side of the new Assets and Wealth Act firsthand. They'll be talking and performing later. That's all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
Oui, je suis dessus. Je le voyais venir. Je le voyais grave venir que vous alliez me faire ce coup-là. Du coup, est-ce qu'à un moment on va deviner que c'est quelqu'un qui essaie de nous pirater le signal ou est-ce Parce que j'ai comme l'impression que... Ok, c'est bon.
In the wake of the government's swift
Un peu tôt.
enactment of the Assets and Wealth Act, we're talking about Advance's first week in office and what the new future holds. Joining me are Katie Brightman, a leading economist, and Alan James, author of Alan James is Right, The Free Man's Guide to Waking Up. Alan, the government certainly haven't dragged their heels on delivering some of the legislation they promised. But what does the Wealth Act mean for us?
Nothing, Jeremy. We're still vassal slaves, we're just in prettier cages.
A confident dismissal there. Katie Brightman, do you agree?
I'm afraid I don't, no. I think that Advance have realised that the current economic system of unlimited, unending growth is untenable, so they're changing things up.
There I agree with you. They're moving to the next steps in the grand plan.
Grand plan, Alan?
It's all in my book. Alan James is right, Jeremy. We're to become the great herd, ignorant, sterile, and short-lived. That's what they want.
Or perhaps Advance have just realised that if we carry on the way we are,
Faute de ma
we
part.
will destroy ourselves and
Oui, je sais,
planet
je sais, je sais, je
in a
sais.
mad orgy of consumption.
J'ai confondu 3 et 2.
Yes, orgy is the right word. Only it'll be the overlords having an orgy on our poor broken backs. It's all in my book. Alan James is...
Shamelessly self-promoting? Katie, how do you think the rest of the world will respond to this new approach?
I think they're watching carefully. Advance are the most...
Ce qui est bien, c'est que c'est pas du tout dans l'actu en ce moment. C'est bien.
Yes, Katie's right.
Ça permet de se changer les idées.
Thank you, but that isn't
And
what
this will not be a war like we've ever seen before. We're
Et merde.
talking millions of deaths.
Ouais, c'est bon, ça va.
Weapons that can level entire cities. We're talking...
Out of the wrong orifices?
Mock me all you like, Jeremy, but when they murder your parents and they poison your food and they take you away to their camps for hypno-brainwashing, we'll be laughing then.
That might be a great way to sell books, Alan, but you know full well that isn't going to happen in a democracy.
Democracy is dead.
Yes, Advance are radical, and change is always frightening, but the truth is that the Wealth and Assets Act has made more than 90% of the population wealthier and is on target to produce a permanent end to poverty.
Bollocks! What this young lady doesn't understand, Jeremy, is that these are the same people. Maybe they've rebranded, but it's all a little circus act to keep us from seeing the tyrant behind the curtain.
That's where you're wrong, Alan. For a start, they've mobilised the youth vote like we've never seen before.
You say mobilise, I call it grooming. The grooming of an entire generation to walk happily into eternal bondage. They're like psychic paedophiles.
But based on the facts, Katie, what are your predictions?
The Assets and Wealth Act is only the first step. Advance now have a historic budgetary surplus, and as well as properly funding our public services...
C'est dire, parce que je me prends la tête dans 2 et 3, mais surtout, j'écoute pas assez ce qui est dit et c'est horrible.
Or, as I call them in my book, Frankenscience and opiates. Like opiates, see?
Can we get back to the issue at hand, please, Alan?
This is the issue. It's all coming from the water, the chemicals, they're pumping it full of
Ok, d'accord, magnifique.
Don't get me wrong, I want to see these changes, but only if they're sustainable.
Ah ça va, je change 2 plans en 1 seconde et tout le monde zappe. Je suis fan de catch, hein, c'est du foutage de gueule ça.
That could be catastrophic.
The catastrophe is that they're succeeding. They've got us sat here talking about their puppet show.
All right, we're running out of time. Quickly, Alan, what does the future look like to you?
A bleak space where we've all been figuratively sodomized into submission.
No, of course. Katie?
We might be on the eve of a
Merda.
brave world. God knows we need some change, but we need to be cautious. Let's walk forwards with our eyes open.
2 very different visions of the future there. Alan James, Katie Brightman, thank you for joining me. When we come back, I'll be investigating law and order before Megan meets some beneficiaries of the Assets and Wealth Act. That's all coming up tonight on the National Nightly News.
One minute back.
You know, I think they might do some good.
I hope so too, Jeremy.
How much are you being paid by them then?
Shut the fuck up, Alan.
C'est quoi ce Canal Plus avant Bolloré Simulator là? Ah, c'est Canal Plus pendant Bolloré, j'ai plus l'impression.
Alan, I can explain it to you, but unfortunately, I can't understand it for you.
Well, I don't know what she meant by that.
Ah, c'est pas mal. Ah, c'est une bonne note.
How's it going? Actually, fuck it, I don't care. I hate the fucking news. Bloody hell, I love this tune, though. All right, mate, see you later. Bye.
A plus. Oui, bisous.
I'm just saying I'll do what I can, that's all.
Bullshit, you will. She's good. You know she is.
I've said I put a word in, that's all I can do.
10 seconds, everybody.
Okay.
Little JD's going to the big bird country with water.
If that sticks, I'll destroy
5,
you.
4, 3.
Welcome back. In our second segment, we're going to be taking a deep dive into the state of law and order in our country.
Ça va bien se passer.
Advance have
Ah
already
non.
tasked what they are calling a solutions team to move this serious social problem to the top of the list. Tonight, we go behind the headlines to meet the people who live with the criminal justice system every day of their lives. First up, we have Gregory Judge, a lawyer who sees the problems close up on the front line. Can you hear me, Gregory?
Yes, I've got you, Jeremy. Thanks for having me.
What's it like on the front line of the hard face of the cold hand of justice?
Well, as you can imagine, Jeremy, we are massively understaffed in this country. We're working every hour we can just to try and cope with the caseloads on our desks.
Which must affect the quality of support you can offer.
Well, we can barely keep up with demand, Jeremy. There just simply isn't enough being done at a systemic level to relieve the problem. We need more support from ministers. What are you doing? We need change at a structural level,
I'm
Jeremy.
leaving, Greg.
Not a good time, darling.
It never is it? I'll be at my mother's.
Just hang on. No, the problem isn't a local one, Jeremy. It's nationwide. Just give me 5 minutes. I'm talking to Jeremy Donaldson.
Oh, have you mentioned your affairs?
No. Well, the affairs of the Justice Department that we should be concerned about.
C'est compliqué parce que là, il faut que je m'organise sur beaucoup de choses à la fois.
We need legislation to relieve the pressure on our public
Sorry
servants.
to interrupt the news, Mr. Donaldson. Can I have a moment to tell my husband I'm leaving him?
Yes, I totally understand. Quite the picture of a burdened legal sector there. Gregory Judge, thank you for joining us. Next, I'm joined by Police Chief Constable Bob Peel, a man with a very different perspective on our nation's crime. Do you think there's a problem with the system, Bob?
I'm sure we all do, Jeremy. I'm sure we all
putain, pas encore.
remember the days when you could safely walk the streets of your community at night, looking in through windows and generally enjoying your neighbours without the risk of being terrorised by some thug with a knife or cosh.
So you feel the streets simply aren't safe anymore? Where have we gone wrong, Bob?
Well, that's not a simple question, Jeremy, but I think it all comes down to moral decay. We've diluted our culture and lost touch with what it means to be a citizen of this once great country. Also, as the vicar noted in Sunday's sermon, we probably shouldn't have banned hanging.
And to what do you attribute this moral decay?
Foreigners, gays and gypsies mainly.
Oh, d'accord.
In the Bible, look, Leviticus clearly states that... Oh, bugger, hang on a moment. Jeremy, your bloody gimp's escaped. Delia? Delia, could you give me a little help, please, dear?
Sure.
As I was saying, Jesus didn't like immigrants much, did he?
And just to be clear, you think it's the immigrants who are responsible for the moral decay?
Absolutely, Jeremy. Back in your box, Clive. Back in your box. Delia, I really could use a little help with this.
Oh, sorry, darling. I was spaying the badgers.
Yes, I'm talking to Jeremy Donaldson. Clive, could you put him back in the box?
Oh, Clive, you know it's Wednesday. Back you go. Back in your gimp space.
And whose responsibility is it to make a change, Bob?
Well, it is certainly not the responsibility of the decent, good, white people
Darling,
of this...
where's the padlock?
Oh, hold on just a moment.
Oh, Clive, this simply won't do. Naughty, naughty, naughty boy. Mummy said...
Clive, I am not having this again.
Mummy said get back in your gimp space. No! Naughty! You beast, Clive!
As I was saying, Jeremy, moral decay. Crime is the responsibility of the criminal, no one else. Look, everyone has a sob story, but we don't all end up as barbarians, do we? Look, when our daughter Alice comes home with an A-, does she go on a killing spree? No, she takes 3 of her pills and hides under the stairs like a normal child.
Thank you, Bob. Bob Peel there, really locking down the police's position on morality.
Voilà, voilà,
And
voilà.
finally tonight, hopefully uninterrupted, it's time to get to the heart of the matter. Tony Dawson has recently been released from prison after serving 3 years for aggravated assault, burglary and menacing a swat. He's agreed to talk to us today, which is also, I believe, his birthday. Many happy returns, Tony.
Cheers, Jez. Call me Titwank Tony. Everybody else does.
No, I'm
Qu'est-ce qui
not
se
going
passe?
to be doing that.
Merde, j'ai oublié un truc à censurer.
Prison, Tony.
Titwank Tony. Prison's a mixed bag. Structure's quite nice,
Okay.
but it's a constant battle against institutionalization, as you can imagine. And obviously, Titwanks are quite hard to come by.
I'm picking up that you're not alone there, Tony.
Titwank Tony. Yeah, sorry, my friends are throwing me a surprise party. Good bunch of lads.
Okay, well, we're trying to let you get back to that party as soon as possible. First, let me ask you this. Do you feel that your time spent in prison helped to rehabilitate you in any way, Tony?
Tit Wank Tony. I don't think it's as easy as that, Jez.
Ok.
Sopen! I think asking that is an oversimplification.
It sounds like it's getting quite busy there, Tony, but let's try and soldier on. Since leaving custody, have you been able to find a new job?
Yeah, all the boys are here. Big Chris, Little Chris, and Vampire Chris.
This one's, yeah?
Yep. One sec, love. Tit Wank Tony's on the news. Rehabilitation's difficult with the current system, Jez. Just not set up for it, you know? It's inherently unjust.
So, do you feel tempted to... I'm sorry, who's this guy?
You are joking. Chrissy Free Bollocks has only got Mr. Fancy, oh. Not now, fellas.
It seems like we've caught you at a bad time.
The little boy?
Oh, I can't really hear you, mate. It's getting a bit busy here. Jesus.
Yes, we seem to be losing the signal here, Tony.
Fucking way, let's believe that!
Well, we're just trying to get that
Ok,
signal back.
magnifique.
I think we... Yes, Tony? Tony, I mean, we were literally away for 2 seconds. How has this happened, Tony? Can you hear me? Well, we seem to have lost our train of thought there a little. Hopefully you, the viewer at home, have managed to glean a broader understanding of the serious and complex issues around law and order. After the break, Megan will be live with some plucky young thespians. Don't go away. We'll be back after these messages.
1 minute back, everybody.
Ok, j'ai fait ce que j'ai pu pour le gérer. Hein.
Mate, I ain't got long and I'm quite drunk. It's been a great night. In this next section, there's a bit of music. If you edit in time with the music, you can see
Ok, ça je peux le faire.
vision mixer, and the public will love that.
Ça, normalement, je peux le faire.
Don't though, you won't get punished for it or nothing. Just try and stay in the groove. Also, one last tip: when the music starts, turn down the broadcast volume. Right, enjoy the music bit. God, I love music. God, I'm so
Par contre, je crois que je viens de passer un spot de propagande. J'aurais dû m'en douter en plus.
Looks right, I've got this. I'm sure he's on his way. Come on, it's welcome back. How hard can it be?
This is on you. 10 seconds, everybody. We're going to open on Megan. Camera 2.
Ok.
Going in 5.
T'en fais pas, je suis dessus.
4, 3.
Welcome's Black. I'm Megan Wolfe, and on tonight's Culture Spot, I'll be chatting with one of the first beneficiaries of the Assets and Wealth Act, a team of inspiring young people from Scritchford Sixth Form College who today received a grant from Advance to take their play, Hey, Friendship, on a tour of local secondary schools. Welcome to you all. Well, let's start with you two, Harriet and Charlotte Winstanley-Hamilton. Girls, you must be thrilled.
We are, Megan. We're overwhelmed, to be honest.
And I believe you two are sisters, is that right?
Yes, Charlotte's my oldest.
I'm the older, more popular one. Only joking.
Harriet and Trey were really the ones who came up with the whole idea.
So, Harry and I were shooting the breeze in the cafeteria, and I said, hey, let's actually do something.
So I went to look for a drama teacher.
But she'd been laid off due to budget cuts. Fortunately, I directed a pantomime when
Je sens qu'il va être très long ce secteur.
So I knew the ropes, as it were.
Oh, right, yes, but you're the maths teacher, aren't you?
Yes, that's me, Jeff Algebra, maths teacher.
Jeff Algebra.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
Maths is really important.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
As is theatre. It's one of the oldest art forms in history. Aristotle.
I just think that when we travel around all these problem schools and the poor kids see us, they say, hey, I really want to be like those attractive kids. And that's a very beautiful and powerful thing. We touch our audiences and they touch us right back.
I suppose with a surname like Algebra, there was really only one choice of career for me. My wife, Angela, and I, we often laugh about it.
Quel cauchemar.
Yes.
We just want to bring a bit of song and joy into people's lives.
And teach people about the difficult issues.
Bonjour, Lucky Larry.
The issues in the play are what really matter.
And I think you're going to be showing us an extract from this play, aren't you?
That's right. To put into context, I play a young first year who's having some troubles at school.
Her character doesn't actually have a name, yeah, because in a way she's like all of us.
It's like a metaphor. Maybe she's you at home, or like, maybe she's you, Megan.
Maths is really important.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Put it in, coach.
Yes, thanks, Steve.
Right, well, I'm going to have a little
Merci,
chat with
Steve.
your teacher while you run off and get ready. I can't wait to see it. That's it, that way.
Oups.
So, Jeff, when did you first hear about the grant?
D'accord, ok, c'était pas un... Ok, très bien. Je pensais que c'était une vidéo à balancer en fait, mais pas du tout.
His secretary retrieved it from his bin and brought it to me.
Wow, how did you react?
I also threw it in the bin. But then Harriet and Trey rescued it, and they rang the number at the bottom of the page, and next thing you know, we're on tour.
Wow. Well, I think we can all guess which way you'll be voting from now on.
Do you know what? It's funny because Angela and I don't usually vote. We're not very political. I'm a mathematician, of course, and she's a paraplegic mainly. But we did used to watch that Peter Clements DIY show back in the day, and so we thought, why not? Let's have a go with this whole
Mon Dieu.
thing.
Mon Dieu.
Good stuff.
Fucking brilliant.
So, let's have a look at a short section of Hey, Friendship.
Dear Diary, I'm not sure I can take another day at this school. Another day of tears.
Tears.
Another day of fears. But still I walk the corridors alone. Dreading what might be around every corner.
What's around the corner? What's around the corner? What's around the corner?
Oh, hi Gary.
Oh heavens no! It's Gary the Fist!
Gary the Fist!
Going somewhere, little first year?
Great. I've been looking for some poor victim to bully all morning, but will this make me feel better about my violent father?
Excuse me, I'm late for maths. It's my favourite subject. And so important.
Maths is for losers.
What?
Maths is for losers.
My arm's stuck, coach.
Keep going, for fuck's sake.
Right, maths is for losers. Now,
Okay.
give me your lunch money.
Double lunch for me today, but why am I only truly happy when I'm eating?
Not today, Gary the Fist.
What do you mean not today? Who are you? My arm's free, coach.
Brilliant, keep going.
Right, who are you to stand up to me? I'm Gary the Fist. And you're just a sad little girl with two gay dads who's all alone.
That's where you're wrong, Gary the Fist. These are my two new friends. Vanessa is captain of the netball team. Yeah. And Blake owns a motorbike.
Yeah.
But I can't fight all three of you, and I don't have any friends of my own.
Take a look at me. Take a little look at my face. I could be you. She could be you. And you could be me.
Or you could be me.
Life can be peachy keen if you work as a team.
It's my choice to be mean. So stop now, make a different choice.
Listen to that inner voice.
Hey, listen up, I won't take no crap. Who said middle class girls can't rap? I ain't afraid of your
Mon Dieu.
I'm a mother-loving rebel, but I still love maths.
Hey, kids, I'm Gary the Fist. People think that folks like me probably shouldn't exist, but that's just prejudice, and I'd do better if you knew the way that I became Gary the Fist. I grew up on a council estate. The park was hip, but the flats weren't great. My dad used to come home drunk and late, and he'd hit my mum, and for dinner he had to wait. Oh, where's my dinner?
It's not ready.
Oh, where's my dinner?
D'accord, j'ai plus le rythme.
Don't make me ask you again.
Hitting women is wrong.
I guess life's pretty hard on a council estate. 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 It's so damn hard on a council estate.
Life can be peachy keen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If you work as a team.
Just work as a team.
It's your choice to be me.
It's my choice.
So stop now, make a different choice.
Listen to that inner voice.
Friendship!
Yes! Oh, oh, oh.
Well, thankfully that's all we have time for tonight on the National Nightly News. Join us tomorrow night for all the headlines from across the country. My name's Jeremy Donaldson. Have a peaceful night.
And we're out.
Merci beaucoup. Ok, ce jeu est génial.
What the literal fuck was that?
I believe that was arse.
I believe I've got a 14-inch cock, but it doesn't make it so.
I have a similar belief about an adequate paycheck.
Oh, someone please get these twats out of my studio.
Oui, voilà. Le Téléthon est débloqué dans le menu des suppléments. Merci à tous. Certaines grossièretés ont été diffusées, une émission sans interférence. Un montage d'une nullité affligeante, mais je t'emmerde. J'ai terminé avec une audience à 100, de quoi tu te plains, connard? Pardon, excusez-moi. Je vais peut-être diffuser une grossièreté, ok. Un petit bonus. Pauvre et fauché. Ah, et les annonceurs sont plus super contents. D'accord, très bien. Et le pouvoir, même pas spécialement. Mais la chaîne m'adore. Bah, on va s'en tirer du coup. Qu'est-ce qui pourrait mal se passer? Bon. Je vais même regarder le... On va regarder une petite pub.
Why bother strengthening your body when you can strengthen your face? We believe your skin deserves the best, so the new formula actively removes harsh chemicals from your skin. The high salt content actually pulls the dihydrogen monoxide right from your pores to give you the crisp, brittle skin you've come to expect. New Jus de Cochon will revitalize the appearance of the strength of your face's skin. 41% of women we surveyed said they loved their visible flakes, and 7 out of 10 dentists would recommend it. Jus de Cochon, because we said so.
Ok, d'accord. Allez, encore une petite.
Our children are our future. Advance knows this, and we're here to help. The new Advance Go-Getters initiative will ensure that every young person enjoys the abundance of benefits that only a true community can provide, while keeping us informed of all the ups and downs to help make things even better. With a vast range of activities available, building the nation's future has never been so rewarding. With the Go-Getters, you can be sure that your children will be well equipped in the march towards progress. After all, there's nothing better than moving forwards.
La propagande.
Forwards
Voilà, toute ressemblance avec des événements existants ou ayant existé ne serait que pure coïncidence. C'est vachement bien. C'est vraiment vachement bien. C'est Not for Broadcast, c'est disponible depuis peu sur PC. C'était en early access pendant assez longtemps, mais c'est sorti définitivement là. C'est à 20 balles 99. C'est... Ouais. Ça tourne pas autour du pot. Hein. On verra peut-être si on continue à l'occasion. On va le mettre sur la pile de c'est pas exclu qu'on les continue à l'occasion. Mais holy shit. Oui, très bien. Au revoir YouTube.
And I'm Jeremy Dawes.